Hi there, and welcome to Stonefall Knives. I thought I'd share a little story with you, and then follow it up with a test. So, I do a lot of events. I do gun shows to mountain man rendezvous, and occasionally I'll have people who walk up to me knowing that I'm a knife maker, and they look for validation of a great many things. For some people, they see me as a knife maker and a kind of symbol of masculinity, and they look for validation for their knowledge of the outdoors and knives, and so they start kind of rambling, and I am really not someone they should be looking to for that. I think all that kind of validation comes from within, not without. But occasionally, people will look for that validation from me. And sometimes the way they do it is they will hand me the knife that they own to show their wisdom of knives and or wisdom of purchases. Recently, a man walked up to me at a gun show, and it went like this. So I was sitting at my table, just enjoying the event, talking to people off and on, when I see this man who begins to walk from a distance straight at me. I saw that he looked at my sign above me and then looked at me, and I knew where he was headed. As he arrived, and he didn't speak a word, but reached into his pocket, I already knew what was going to happen because it happens all the time. He pulls out a large sheath with a handle sticking out of it. I know it's a knife, and I know that he's going to handle it to me, but like so many ridiculous people, he hands it to me in complete silence, as if he's going to stun me with what he's going to hand me. He hands it to me, and so I take it out of the sheath. I look at it, and my stomach sinks with repulsiveness because this knife is boring from the minute he hands it to me. It's made of a metal that is not interesting in any way, and for me, for a knife to be interesting, first and foremost, it must be made of an interesting metal. And this was just made out of just a plain, very simple stainless steel. But what caught my attention more in not liking it was made of a very low edge retention, low performance stainless steel, and it was a 1/4 inch thick with a full steel handle. This thing just looked miserable on all ends. It just disgusted me. But what the man had to tell me about that knife really showed me how little he understood knives. Or who knows, maybe he's the smartest man who ever lived and he knows better than me. Don't know. Maybe we'll find out today. But so anyways, so I look at this knife, and I don't want to say anything because I know that if I talk to this guy and I say any kind of truth, he's going to stand there longer trying to correct me, and I hate talking downhill with somebody who doesn't really know what they're talking about. So I just repeated 4 words the entire time. I said, "Well, there it is." And that's all I had to say, over and over and over again, those 4 words. He hands it to me, I look at it, and I say, "Well, there it is." He says to me, this knife right here, watched a man hammer this knife into a tree. And as I watched him pound it in, I realized it was a pretty good knife because it didn't break. And then the man stood on it, and that's when I knew it was the best knife in the world. I felt fuses blowing in my mind from such a statement. And so, today we are going to do a little test and see what the best knife in the world is. So we are going to take my smallest thin knife, 0.1 inches, in my steel that is the least toughest out of the ones that I build with, the cpms90v. I'm going to hammer it in to that tree right over there. And let's see if this really is the greatest knife in the world. All right, let's see. Right now I am 230 pounds, actually a little more than that in this coat, these boots, everything in my pockets. My smallest hunting knife. Here we go. Yep. Well, there it is. So just remember that not everybody out there gives great advice on knives. Even people that have been using knives for longer than I've been alive sometimes don't have a knowledge of what makes a good knife. They might know how to use one, but they don't know what makes a good one. And I guess you can walk away knowing that this is a pretty darn good knife.